Therefore, my being in exile does not preclude me from continuing with the struggle from where I am. As long as I'm alive, the struggle continues. The third question from Christopher Kidanka of the East African, that the people of Tanzania have never ever responded to calls for demonstrations. I think, no, my brother Christopher, you need to check your history again. In 2001, 19 years ago, the people of Zanzibar responded to calls for mass action. And as a result, dozens were murdered by the security forces of the government of the United Republic of Tanzania. Only 3 weeks ago, only last month, in the first 2 days of this fraud of an election, dozens of people were killed while demonstrating. So to say that the people of Tanzania have never responded to calls for demonstration is to exhibit an ignorance of our history that I find strange. Our people have responded to demonstrations in the past. They will respond to calls for mass action in the future. They may not have done it this time as we wished it to happen. That is true. But that is not to say that they will never respond to call for mass action to protect their rights. Thank you.
I would like to start from where Lisu left. Do you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
I would like to start where Lisu left from the questions. One, I would also like to remind Kidanka on the 2011 demonstrations and the killings in Arusha. I'm sure 9 years ago is not very far as compared to 18 years ago example that Tundu gave. But also after the Arusha killings, where 5 people were killed, then when I was still in Chadema, we had a number of demonstrations in 8 different zones of the country. And people were demonstrating, and the police did not cause any problem. So it is not true that Tanzanians haven't heeded to the call for mass action. They have several times, not only by the opposition, but also by other organizations. I remember when I was at the university and there was a war in Iraq, and we called for a demonstration that ended in Jangwani, where the late Professor Harub Othman, Issa Shivji, Dr. Loitama addressed the rally, and it was organized by students at the University of Dar es Salaam by the time I was a student leader, and people turned up to demonstrate against the war in Iraq. I led a demonstration in 2001 against the World Bank and IMF policies under the umbrella of TGNP and FEMWAC then, and people turned up. Of course, we were arrested. So it is not true that Tanzanians never heed to the call for demonstration. What is true is that this regime, the Magufuli regime, is ready to kill people if they turn out to demonstrate peacefully, as what we have witnessed, and people have the right to defend themselves. And on the 2nd of November, the number of security forces which were in the areas where we were supposed to congregate and demonstrate were massive. In Ubungo and Burundi, massive. And for sure, under those environments, people have to protect in order to be able to continue the struggle. So it is not true. So the question, maybe you should reframe between 2016 and now, and not since the introduction of multi-party politics in Tanzania. The question from Emmanuel, which was very well responded by Tundu. This struggle, and I would like to use Nkrumah's quote. Nkrumah has a say, one struggle, many fronts. This struggle has to be fought from different fronts. And the international front is very, very, very important. And Lisu gave a very good example of the people like Oliver Tambo and the likes. And there are people who remained in South Africa, the Winnies and the likes. Some of them were imprisoned, like Mandela and Sisulu and the likes. But the work of Oliver Tambo and Becky and others who were in Lusaka or in Dar es Salaam, the Hanis and the likes, was so important in the struggle. So this has to be interpreted as part of the struggle, and all of us should be able to understand that part of history, as Lisu just briefed us. On Mtulia's question regarding the government of national unity in Zanzibar, one, it has to be well understood that the different from the constitution of the mainland, the constitution of Zanzibar elaborates or describes for the government of national unity. The question here is that government of national unity should be formed under a free, fair, and credible election results. And what we are questioning now is the whole exercise of the election. And it is very clear to us as a party that there was no election in Zanzibar. If I trim it to the Zanzibar question, there was no election. And this has been clearly said by the party chairperson and by myself as the party leader. So why did we receive the letter? Why not? Because the letter has been sent and the letter was received. But the question should be, why didn't we send a name as requested? We did not send a name because we did not recognize the election. And as a party, we have the internal democratic processes for the party structures to make the final decision. The preliminary decision has been made that we don't recognize the election, so we don't recognize the results of that election. But the party formal communication will come out. And as you know, all of you, that Maalim Seif has been in the tour in both Unguja and Pemba, not only visiting people who have been affected by the atrocities committed against them pre, during, and past election, but also conducting consultations within the party structures that will enable us to give out a formal decisions after the party central committee meeting and possibly national executive committee meeting of the party. So as it stands, ACT doesn't recognize the election that took place in Zanzibar. And yes, as Maalim Seif said, we received the letter and the internal processes are going on.
Thank you very much.